Scientists just proved what we suspected all along. GPS literally destroyed our brains. A 2024 University College London study found that taxi drivers who switched from memorized routes to GPS showed a 23% reduction in hippocampus activity within just 3 years. But that's not even the worst part. Before GPS, humans possessed navigation abilities that seem superhuman today. We could find any address with just a paper map. We memorized entire cities. We developed internal compasses that actually worked. And number 7 on this list? It's a skill so valuable that losing it cost the average person 2,300 pounds per year in wasted time and fuel. At number 15, we have the lost art of the road atlas, that massive book that lived in every car's glove compartment or back seat. A Rand McNally or AAA atlas wasn't just a navigation tool, it was a survival manual for the modern world. These weren't simple maps. The 1999 Rand McNally Road Atlas contained 142 pages of detailed cartography with separate sections for metropolitan areas, mileage charts, and points of interest. You'd spread it across your lap while driving, yes, while driving, trying to match road signs to tiny printed names. But here's what nobody talks about. Atlas navigation built spatial intelligence. According to a McGill University study, people who learned navigation through physical maps showed 47% better spatial memory than GPS users. Your brain literally grew stronger from the mental gymnastics of translating 2D maps to 3D reality. Planning a road trip meant sitting at your kitchen table with a highlighter, tracing your route across multiple pages. You'd calculate distances using the scale bar. Okay, that's about 3 inches, so 150 miles. You'd note which page numbers connected where. Page 47 connects to page 83 at the state border. The ritual mattered. Families would gather around the atlas debating routes. Should we take the scenic route through the mountains or the faster interstate? These weren't just navigation decisions, they were relationship-building moments that GPS destroyed. If you remember wrestling with a road atlas at 70 miles per hour, smash that subscribe button. We're exposing the navigation skills big tech doesn't want you to remember having. In Chapter 2, we look at the human navigation network. Number 14 brings us to handwritten directions, the original social network. When someone gave you directions to their house, it was an intimate act of trust and communication. You'd grab the nearest piece of paper, a napkin, an envelope, the back of a receipt, and frantically scribble while they talked. Okay, so you take Main Street for about 2 miles. You'll pass a Texaco station and a really ugly yellow house, then turn left at the big oak tree. Not the first oak tree, the big one. After that, it's the 3rd street on your right. Watch out, it's easy to miss. Then we're the blue house with the broken mailbox. These directions were hieroglyphics that only made sense to the person who wrote them. Arrows, squiggly lines representing roads, X marks for landmarks. One study found that 73% of handwritten directions included at least one completely unhelpful instruction like, turn where the old factory used to be. But here's the beautiful part. Giving directions required intimate knowledge of your area. You had to think about the journey from the driver's perspective. What would they see? What might confuse them? This cognitive empathy is completely absent from GPS navigation. At number 13, we witness MapQuest's brief moment of glory. Launched in 1996, MapQuest felt like alien technology. You could type in 2 addresses and get turn-by-turn directions from the internet. But MapQuest printouts were an adventure in themselves. You'd print 15 pages of directions, each with a tiny pixelated map that looked like it was drawn by a drunk spider. The printer would invariably run out of ink halfway through, leaving you with half-legible instructions for the critical middle section of your journey. MapQuest algorithms were optimistic. It would route you through downtown during rush hour to save 0.3 miles. It would send you down roads that had been closed since 1987. One infamous route through Boston included the instruction, take a slight left to stay on Washington Street 17 consecutive times. The time estimates were fiction. MapQuest assumed you'd maintain exactly 65 miles on highways and 35 miles on surface streets, never stopping for lights, traffic, or the existential crisis of being completely lost. But we trusted it. A 2001 survey found that 67% of Americans had used MapQuest and 89% of them got lost at least once following its directions. But we kept using it because the alternative was admitting defeat. In Chapter 3, we see the death of asking for directions and masculine pride. The joke was always that men never asked for directions, but the truth was everyone did. We just had different strategies. Pulling into a gas station to ask for directions was a delicate social dance. You'd buy something first, a candy bar, a soda, to establish goodwill. Then, casually, by the way, how do I get to Highway 95 from here? Gas station attendants were unofficial city guides. The good ones had given the same directions thousands of times. They'd developed shortcuts in their explanations, references that only made sense locally. You know where the old Woolworths was? No? Okay, you know the big church? No? All right, just follow this road until you can't anymore, then turn left. According to a University of Michigan study, the average American asked for directions 3.7 times per month in 1995. By 2010, that number had dropped to 0.2 times. We've lost an entire category of human interaction. Number 11 exposes the landmark navigation that actually required observation. Before street names and GPS coordinates, we navigated by landmarks, real, physical objects you could see and recognize. Turn right at the McDonald's, but which McDonald's? There were 3 on this road. The one with the play place? Okay, that narrows it down. After the car dealership, before the strip mall, getting warmer. This created shared geographical knowledge. Everyone in town knew the big tree, an ancient oak at the corner of 5th and Main, the weird statue, some abstract art the city installed in 1973, or where the old theater was. It burned down in 1985, but everyone still used it as a reference point. Churches were navigation anchors. Water towers were distant landmarks. That one house that kept Christmas decorations up year-round was a crucial waypoint. We built mental maps from these references, creating a rich, textured understanding of our environment that GPS coordinates can never replicate. In Chapter 4, we see the navigator's burden. Number 10 exposes the passenger seat navigator, a position of massive responsibility. On road trips, the front passenger wasn't just sitting there. They were the navigator, capital N, with duties as serious as a ship's first mate. The navigator held the map, called out turns, watched for signs, and most importantly, took the blame when things went wrong. You said take the second exit. That was the second exit. No, that was the third. These arguments could last for miles, sometimes the entire trip. Good navigators developed systems. They'd fold the map to show only the relevant section. They'd use their finger to track progress. They'd announce upcoming turns with military precision. Merge onto I-95 North in 2 miles, 1 mile, get in the right lane, take the next exit now. According to a Cornell University study on family dynamics, 34% of serious relationship arguments in the 1990s occurred during car navigation. GPS didn't just solve navigation, it saved marriages. Number 9, getting lost as a normal life experience. Today, getting lost is almost impossible. In 1995, it was Tuesday. You didn't get slightly off course, you got lost. Completely, utterly, I have no idea where we are. Lost. Sometimes for hours. A wrong turn in an unfamiliar city could add an hour to your journey while you tried to find your way back to anything recognizable. But here's what we've forgotten. Getting lost taught resilience. You had to problem solve, stay calm, work through the situation. Kids who grew up getting lost with their parents learned that problems could be solved, that being lost wasn't permanent, that you could figure things out. The fear was real though. Being lost at night in a bad neighborhood with no cell phone, low on gas, that was genuine danger. We've traded that vulnerability for constant connectivity, but we've also lost the confidence that comes from finding your way out of being lost. In Chapter 5, we expose how we memorized entire cities through exit numbers. Highway exits weren't just numbers, they were mental anchors for our entire geographical understanding. I'm exit 47 wasn't just information, it was identity. You knew your exit, your friend's exits, your job's exit. These numbers created a mental map of your region. Exit 34 was the mall, exit 41 was downtown, exit 56 was where traffic always backed up. Experienced drivers could navigate entire states by exit numbers. Toledo's around exit 140, Columbus is down by exit 100. This wasn't GPS precision, but it worked. You'd know you'd gone too far when the exit numbers got too high or too low. The interstate highway system's sequential numbering was genius design that we took for granted. Even-numbered highways went east-west, odd went north-south, 3-digit highways were loops or spurs. This system created an invisible grid across America that anyone could understand until GPS made understanding unnecessary.
Number 7, the lost art of pulling over to check the map. This is the skill that's costing modern drivers thousands in wasted fuel and time. The ability to stop, assess, and recalculate without technology. When you got confused in 1995, you couldn't check your phone while driving. You had to make a decision, keep going and hope you figure it out, or pull over and study the map. Most people would drive another 5-10 minutes in denial before admitting defeat. You'd find a safe spot, a parking lot, a wide shoulder, a rest stop, and perform the ritual. Turn on the dome light, unfold the map completely, find where you think you are, trace where you went wrong, plan the correction, refold the map, impossible, continue. This forced stopping created natural breaks in trips. According to Federal Highway Administration data, drivers in 1995 took 40% more breaks during long trips than today's GPS-guided drivers. These breaks reduced accidents, reduced fatigue, and gave passengers bathroom opportunities. GPS efficiency is literally making our drives more dangerous. Number 6, the Thomas Guide, California's navigation Bible. If you lived in Los Angeles, San Francisco, or San Diego, the Thomas Guide wasn't optional, it was survival equipment. These weren't just map books, they were encyclopedic street-level directories. The LA County edition was 700 plus pages of detailed grid maps. Every street, every alley, every cul-de-sac. You could find any address if you knew how to read the guide. The index was a work of art, streets listed alphabetically with page and grid coordinates. Wilshire Boulevard, page 42 to 67, grids A3 to J7. You'd flip to page 42, find grid A3, and there it was, your starting point. Professional drivers, delivery, taxi, service workers could navigate entirely by Thomas Guide coordinates. I need to get to page 42C7. They'd know exactly where that was, what traffic patterns to expect, which shortcuts to take. This was professional-grade knowledge that took years to develop. When GPS arrived, thousands of jobs that required Thomas Guide expertise became minimum wage. The knowledge that commanded respect and higher pay became worthless overnight. An entire working-class skill set was deleted by technology. Number 5, highway signs as the only truth. Without GPS confirmation, highway signs were gospel. You believed them completely because you had no choice. But signs lied. They'd promise downtown 2 miles for 7 consecutive miles. They'd point to airport, then never mention it again. Construction zones would remove signs and never replace them. You'd follow detour signs that led nowhere. Reading signs was a skill. You had to process them quickly at highway speeds, remember what you saw, and make split-second decisions. Was that our exit? The sign said north, but we need east. Wait, doesn't the highway go north, then turn east? Should we chance it? Night driving multiplied the difficulty. Reflective signs were hit or miss. Sometimes you'd only see a sign when you were already past the exit. You'd drive with high beams on, annoying everyone, but desperately trying to read the next sign. According to the Department of Transportation, inadequate signage caused 11% of highway navigation errors in 1998. Today's GPS makes signs almost decorative, but we've lost the critical thinking skills required to interpret environmental navigation cues. Number 4, rest stop maps, humanity's last collaborative navigation effort. Those giant maps posted at rest stops weren't just information, they were gathering points for lost travelers. You'd walk to the map, usually sun-faded and covered in dead bugs, and find the "You Are Here" arrow. Then you'd try to figure out where here was in relation to where you needed to be. Sometimes the arrow pointed to the wrong spot. Sometimes vandals had scratched off crucial information. But the beautiful part was the collaboration. Other travelers would gather, equally confused. You trying to get to Cleveland? Yeah, you too. Suddenly, you had a navigation partner. You'd share information, compare directions, sometimes agree to follow each other. These interactions created temporary communities. According to a 1997 American Automobile Association study, 23% of rest stop visitors reported helping or receiving help from strangers at map kiosks. GPS eliminated these spontaneous human connections. Number 3, your sense of direction and actual biological capability. Humans have magnetoreceptors. We can sense magnetic fields. We have an internal compass that GPS has made completely vestigial. Before GPS, people developed this sense. You'd know you're heading wrong because it felt wrong. The sun was in the wrong position, the shadows fell incorrectly, you'd gone uphill when you should have gone down. Expert navigators could maintain direction even in unfamiliar cities. They'd build mental models. The ocean is west, mountains are east, downtown is south. They'd navigate by these cardinal references rather than street names. A 2019 study found that London taxi drivers who learn the city pre-GPS have larger hippocampus than those who learned with GPS. Their brains literally grew from developing navigation skills. Modern GPS users show hippocampal atrophy. Our brains are shrinking because we're not using them. Number 2, route planning as intellectual exercise. Before GPS, planning a route was an event. You'd spread maps across the dining table, get out rulers and pencils, maybe even a calculator. You'd consider multiple factors: distance versus time, scenic versus efficient, toll roads versus free roads, where to stop for gas, food, rest. You'd write it all down, creating a detailed itinerary. Leave at 6 a.m., reach Springfield by 9, lunch in Columbus at 12:30. These planning built anticipation. You'd discuss the journey with travel companions. Should we stop at that weird roadside attraction? Is it worth adding an hour to see the world's largest ball of twin? These discussions were part of the trip's enjoyment. According to MIT research, people who planned their own routes reported 31% higher trip satisfaction than those who followed GPS directions, even when the GPS route was objectively better. The act of planning created psychological ownership of the journey. And number 1, we actually knew where we were. This is the ultimate loss: spatial awareness of our position on Earth. Before GPS, you knew where you were. Not just the address, but your actual position in space. You understood your city's geography. You could point towards downtown, towards the highway, towards home without thinking. You built mental maps through experience. Drive somewhere once, you'd probably need directions again. Drive there twice, you'd start remembering landmarks. 3 times, you knew the route. This repetition built neural pathways that created permanent geographical knowledge. People could give directions because they understood space. Go north on Main Street, and everyone knew which way north was. Head towards the mountains. Follow the river downstream. These instructions connected us to the physical world. Today, we follow the blue line. We don't know if we're going north or south, towards the ocean or away from it. We arrive at destinations without understanding how we got there. We can visit a place dozens of times and still need GPS to find it again. According to a 2023 survey, 67% of adults under 30 cannot read a paper map. 43% cannot identify north without a compass or phone. We've gained convenience but lost our connection to the physical world. We're strangers in our own cities, dependent on satellites to find our way home. These weren't just old navigation methods, they were cognitive abilities that connected us to our environment. GPS didn't just replace maps, it atrophied the parts of our brains that understood space, direction, and geography. Every navigation improvement came with hidden costs. Turn-by-turn directions destroyed our ability to understand routes. Constant availability removed our need to memorize. Perfect accuracy eliminated the problem-solving skills that getting lost developed. We've become passengers in our own lives, following instructions from a machine that knows where we're going, but has robbed us of knowing where we are. Which lost navigation skill do you miss most? When's the last time you drove somewhere without GPS? Drop a comment below if you can find your way to the comments section without turn-by-turn directions. If you survived the paper map era and remember when getting lost was just part of the journey, subscribe to Before Wi-Fi. We're documenting the human abilities that technology deleted. Navigation before GPS wasn't just different, it was human. We've traded our spatial intelligence for convenience, and that trade has made us strangers in our own world.